Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is the Monday after Week 3 in the NFL, and every Monday we do a call with SBR contributor Dave Golikoff to find out what he learned watching the games on Sunday that might be valuable for us to know about in terms of betting value going forward. Dave Golikoff, thanks so much for being back with us.
It's good to join you, buddy.
All right, NFL Week 3, two things that I think, well, maybe not we learned, but got continued to be confirmed. Another over for Philly and another ATS loss and straight-up loss for San Francisco. We discussed San Francisco last week. Did you learn again this past week that San Francisco is overrated?
Yeah, absolutely, and I would include Green Bay in there as well. You take a look at those two teams, and this is the first point I wanted to make to you, that the NFC is wide open. A lot of people coming into the season felt San Francisco is the team to beat. You got Green Bay and New Orleans. Well, look at those three teams. They're not particularly good right now. San Francisco blew a lead in Chicago, then blew a lead in Arizona when everybody thought that they would win. And I should add that they lost to Drew Stanton and the Arizona Cardinals, who surprisingly are the top team in the NFC right now. And then, of course, Green Bay as well. I want to add them in there because I think it's worthy. Everyone just assumes that with Aaron Rodgers on this team that everything's going to be golden. Well, it's not. There's a lot of flaws on both of these teams right now, and you have to be careful as far as betting their futures go.
Right, for sure. Green Bay is having trouble running the ball. They're having problems on offense. The issue, though, is going forward because we can't bet last week's games. Do you think that Green Bay and San Francisco are likely to be overvalued in the future, in future weeks?
I don't think they'll be overvalued, no. I think that a lot of people are going to take pause with what they've seen right now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers normally owns Detroit. They go there and only score 7 points. I think a lot of alarms are going off right now if they're not, going off already, or if they haven't gone off already. I mean, this is just not a Packers team, or not the Packers teams we've seen in recent years. There was a general assumption that, hey, the Packers squeaked into the playoffs last year, 8-7-1, without Aaron Rodgers for most of the year. So with him back, this should be like a 12-win team. Remember, they never had a real running game with the Packers. Now all of a sudden, Eddie Lacy emerged, and they were supposed to be a 12-13 win team. That hasn't been the case. Same thing with the 49ers, that this team was supposed to explode on offense and complement an amazing defense. Remember, they got Ellington, they got Stevie Johnson, Carlos Hyde, all these guys, and it just hasn't come to fruition. So I think a lot of people have looked to see what's happened with the 49ers and the Packers over the last few weeks. And I don't think they're going to be overvalued. I think bettors are actually going to go the other way and say, you know what, got to be careful betting these teams.
All right, well, we will see. We'll find out where those lines come out and where the action comes in. And then Cincinnati, another win and cover. San Diego, another win and cover. And Philly, another over. That makes, I think, 7 in a row going back to the preseason. What's your take on those three trends? Do you think any of them continue or none of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the number one thing that gets overlooked with Philadelphia is that their defense is not very good. Look at all the points that they're giving up to opponents. Kirk Cousins looks like Peyton Manning version 2.0 against the Eagles. Jacksonville, Chad Henne looked fantastic. So I know a lot of people say, hey, the Eagles are going to go over because their offense is great. Yeah, they score a lot, number one scoring team in the NFL, but their defense is really what's contributing to a lot of these overs as well. So a good point on you there. I think the Eagles continue to go over, and we're going to see the odds makers keep setting the number higher and higher. Bengals, Chargers, to me, those teams have learned not to beat themselves, and I think that's important to know. I don't think they're great in terms of come playoff time, cashing in on AFC futures and winning the Super Bowl, but Bengals so far, no sacks allowed and 1 turnover, and that turnover came last week. It was kind of a fluky turnover for the Bengals. So I think they're doing things well. Chargers, you see the same thing. Just smart team under Mike McCoy. They don't beat themselves. They move the chains on third downs, create opportunities, create extra opportunities, extend drives. So those teams, I'm not necessarily impressed in the long term, but as of right now, they're just playing very smart, and I think that's the difference in terms of covering spreads and not.
All right, and is there anything else that you learned from watching the games in Week 3 that you think is worth noting?
Yeah, I think we have to take a look back. I always love to do this at the end of the first month of the season and just reiterate that week one does not mean a whole lot. Pete, remember week one when the Miami Dolphins stomped the New England Patriots and everyone's saying, "Hey, Tannehill's arrived." Finally Joe Philbin, that shrewd offensive mind has got the Dolphins going. Bill Lazor came over, and Mike Wallace is going to do well in his system. Yeah, those Dolphins have shit the bed the last 2 weeks, losing to Buffalo and Kansas City, getting outscored horribly. The Dolphins look like a complete mess right now. So again, don't put too much stake into what you see in week one. Dolphins are just, one example. Kansas City is another one where they lost at home to Tennessee, but then week two, they go to Denver and nearly win that game, or at least push the Broncos a lot more than many people thought. Broncos were, a 14-point favorite in that game. And then, of course, last week, yesterday, they stomped the Miami Dolphins. Game was close as far as the spread goes. Chiefs were never really at any threat of not winning on the spread at the very least. So again, week one doesn't mean a whole lot. It's something that we always forget. A lot of people make judgments in the NFL as from week one to week two. Oh, this team's done. This team, it's over for them, or this team's a Super Bowl contender. Week one doesn't mean a whole lot, and the Chiefs and Dolphins are a couple of examples for you.
All right. Dave Golikoff, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again about your thoughts next week.
All right, talk to you.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.